Few civilizations have inspired as much awe, fear, and fascination as the Spartans, yet their end didn't come in a grand final battle, but on a night almost no one talks about. A night when the most feared warriors of the ancient world simply disappeared from history's center stage. No flames, no clash of shields, just silence. Welcome back to Dusted Dynasties, where we resurrect forgotten stories that shaped our world. Today's story unravels one of the great mysteries of classical antiquity, the night the Spartans vanished. The Spartans were the embodiment of discipline and military perfection. From childhood, they were trained to be fearless, unbreakable, almost mythic. Yet by the time the Roman Empire rose, Sparta, once the powerhouse of Greece, was little more than a ghost of its former self. How does a civilization built on warrior supremacy collapse without a final stand? What forces cut through Sparta more effectively than any invading army? Let's dive into the night the Spartans lost their dominance, and eventually, their identity. To understand their disappearance, we need to understand who the Spartans truly were. A society built for war, Sparta wasn't just a city-state, it was a military machine. Every Spartan male entered the agoge, the harsh training system designed to forge perfect soldiers. They lived by iron rules: no luxury, no fear, no retreat, and obedience over individuality. The Spartan army became so feared that for centuries, no Greek state dared challenge them directly. But their system had one fatal flaw. It relied on an incredibly small population of full-blooded Spartan citizens, the Spartiates. These were the elite warriors, the only ones allowed to fight in the phalanx and vote in the assembly. And that tiny population was shrinking. While the world marveled at their battlefield discipline, Sparta struggled with something far more dangerous than arrows: a declining citizen population. The strict Spartan lifestyle, combined with constant warfare, late marriage customs, and the requirement of pure Spartan lineage, meant fewer births and fewer survivors. By 480 BC, around the time of the famous Battle of Thermopylae, historians estimate there were about 8,000 Spartan citizens. By the 300s BC, fewer than 1,000. That's not a decline, that's a free fall. Every time a Spartan died in battle, he couldn't simply be replaced. The system was too rigid. Why didn't they just adapt? Because Spartan identity depended on exclusivity. Let outsiders become citizens, and the elite warrior class loses its mystique. Let ordinary people rise in status, and the system collapses. Ironically, the same discipline that made them strong made them fragile. So when did the Spartans truly vanish? Many historians point to a single night where Sparta's fate was sealed, not by swords but by a battlefield disaster that shook the Greek world. The Night of Leuctra in 371 BCE was supposed to be a routine Spartan victory. Their enemy, Thebes, was powerful, but not Sparta powerful. Then came Epaminondas, a Theban general who did the unthinkable. He re-engineered Greek warfare and threw the Spartans off balance. On that night at Leuctra, Sparta's elite hoplites faced a revolutionary tactic: a deepened left flank, a massive block of Theban soldiers smashing straight into the Spartan right side, where their best fighters stood. The battle didn't just surprise the Spartans, it annihilated them. For the first time in generations, the Spartan phalanx broke. Their king, Cleombrotus, was killed. Hundreds of Spartiates died in a single clash. Remember that shrinking population? This one night wiped out an entire generation. It was a wound Sparta could never heal. Sparta's power depended on the Helots, an enslaved population that massively outnumbered them. After Leuctra, the Helots sensed Spartan weakness. Their rebellions grew bolder, more frequent, and more coordinated. The Spartans, once able to crush any revolt, now lacked numbers. They were fighting two wars, one outside their borders and one inside. Thebes liberated Messenia, a key region whose helot population had been the backbone of Sparta's agricultural economy. Without Messenia, Sparta was like a warrior without a shield. They had no way to support themselves. While Athens embraced democracy and trade, Sparta kept old traditions. They refused to adapt politically or socially. Wealth piled into the hands of a few families. Equality, one of Sparta's core principles, vanished. They became a shadow of their former selves. By the time Rome entered Greece, Sparta was no longer a feared military state. It was more of a cultural curiosity. Roman writers visited Sparta like tourists visiting a historical reenactment village. They watched Spartan youths reenact ancient traditions, but these were performances, not genuine practices. The real warriors were gone. So when did the Spartans vanish? Not in one moment, but there was a symbolic night that marked the end of authentic Spartan identity. The night of the Cleomenian War in 222 BC. Sparta's final king, Cleomenes III, had tried to revive the old system. He reformed the army, redistributed land, and attempted to replenish the shrinking citizen class. For a moment, it looked like a Spartan comeback. But at the Battle of Cilicia, Sparta faced the Macedonian army and was brutally crushed. That night, Cleomenes fled. The Spartan reforms collapsed, and Sparta, once the iron fist of Greece, became a pawn in foreign wars. From that night onward, the Spartans ceased to exist as a military power and slowly faded from history. By the Roman era, Spartan was just a name, an echo of something that had once terrified the world. The Spartans didn't vanish because they were conquered by a superior force. They vanished because their entire system, rigid, exclusive, and unchanging, was built like a statue carved in stone. Strong but brittle. A shrinking population, a devastating battlefield loss, rebellions, economic collapse, and political stagnation. These forces broke Sparta long before any invader set foot in their homeland. And that's the real tragedy. The greatest warriors in history weren't defeated by war, but by the weight of their own unyielding traditions. If you enjoyed uncovering the mystery behind the night the Spartans vanished, make sure to hit like, subscribe to Dusted Dynasties, and ring that bell so you never miss an episode. Drop a comment below. Which ancient civilization should we resurrect next? What other historical mysteries do you want us to unravel? Thanks for watching, and remember, history's lost worlds aren't really gone. We just have to look closely enough to find them. See you next time on Dusted Dynasties.